This is how the crankshaft for Moriya Major is made. The crank webs were joined together, cemented together, placed in the milling machine. The holes for the shafts drilled and reamed, then split apart, the ends finished to pinch the crank pin. The idea is to make a crankshaft that can be disassembled so that a ball bearing can be used on the connecting rod and replaced or maintained if necessary. So here's how the thing goes together. The crank pin is put in place, pinch screw is put in. It's an 832 Allen head screw with the head reduced in profile so it doesn't stick out so much. I'll just snug it up a little bit. Put on the other crank pin. Have to make sure that the orientation of the crank pins, of the crank webs that is just as it was when they were machined. So I've got them marked and I can put them together. This is the way they were clamped together for machining. So the holes are exactly in line and in line reference to the surfaces of the crank pins, which were surface ground so that we had a good flat reference surface. Okay, now I'll use my not so pretty but very flat plate here to finally clamp these in place. So the crank pin is flush with the end there. I'll just snug up this screw, flip her over, put the pin flush with the end. Snug up this screw, give them a better tightening. Make sure they're resting on the plate nice and flat, which they still are. Okay, nice and tight. Now here's the main shaft, and it should go through now, lining up with the bores, which it does just very nice. Okay, the next step will be to get the shaft positioned just as we need it for the final engine assembly, Loctite it in place on these webs, and then disassemble and cut the middle section out flush with the crank webs. And then we'll have a crankshaft that can be disassembled and put together with reference to a flat surface, a flat placed across the crank webs, and we're all set to go.